Good morning. So we have completed the Java theory syllabus as well as the lab syllabus. So do you have any doubts in theory as well as lab? Do you have any questions? So do you have any questions or doubts regarding the syllabus, regarding the theory or lab? You can ask me. Okay. One. Start చేయలేము సార్. Okay. So up to inheritance, up to inheritance will get in the first internal examinations. First internal examinations. So from in interfaces, we'll get the second internal examinations. So that means 2.5. Third unit, half the syllabus will be for the first internal. Remaining syllabus will be for the second internal. So from second internal, from interfaces. Second internal syllabus is from interfaces to remaining units. First internal syllabus is up to inheritance. Up to inheritance. So already we have discussed so many things regarding the programs or up to inheritance. We have discussed and have the practical sessions also. We have explained so many programs and concept for the first internal. So in the second internal, so we have to start the revision. So for the second internal, so we have to cover the interfaces. We have to cover the interfaces, and then we have to cover the packages, and we have to cover the exception handling, and we have to cover the string handling, then multi-threaded programming, then Java database connectivity. Java database connectivity. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 subunits. In the second internal, we have to cover the 6 units. 6 subunits from interfaces to database connectivity. So let us cover each of this topic one by one. So before going to that, so let us have the unit wise questions. So already it is placed in the Edmido group. So here in the unit-wise questions, have categorized the unit-wise questions into theory questions and practice programs. Theory questions and then practice programs. So for each unit is divided into two parts, theory questions and practice programs. So we have already discussed regarding this in the first mid. Let us have a look in the from third unit onwards. So in the third unit, So there is a possibility of questions from interfaces. From 13th question, you have to observe. So first one is discuss the similarities and dissimilarities between the interfaces and class. So there is some similarities between the class and interface. That is the definition. So the class is declared as class name. Interface is defined as interface name. So both the syntaxes looks very similar, but their implementation is quite different. So we have to identify the similarities as well as we have to identify the dissimilarities between the interfaces and classes. So these classes or interfaces can be used as non-primitive data types. Non-primitive data types. That means these class names and interface names can be used as the data types also. So that is the first one. Next, implementation of interfaces. So class can be implemented by itself, but an interface cannot implement by itself. So in order to implement an interface, we need a class. We need the help of the class. So that means we can define the interface. So after defining the interface, we have to implement that interface. So for the implementation of an interface, we need a class. So likewise, class doesn't need anything. So the class itself can implement itself. So, but an interface cannot implement by itself. So to implement an interface, we need a help of the class. So this is the next question. So next one, illustrate the multiple interfaces. So multiple interfaces. That means a Java program consists of multiple interfaces. So interface 1 is for addition. Interface 2 is for subtraction. So for addition, we can separately take the interface. For subtraction, we can take the separate interface. So what do you mean by interface? So interface is nothing but a collection of constants, that means literals, as well as the abstract methods. So interface is nothing but a collection of abstract methods. Interface consists of abstract methods. Abstract method is nothing but the method which doesn't have the definition. Those type of methods are known as abstract methods. So the interface typically consists of an abstract method. So the implementation of that abstract method will be there in the class, implemented class. That's why we have said that to implement the interface, we need a class. So in that class, we can define that interface. That means we can define that abstract method. So only method header will be there in the interface. It consists of only method header. It doesn't consist of anything, either literals or method headers. So that is the definition of the interface and then syntax of the interface. Next, explain the inheritance of the interface. So there is a possibility of implementing the inheritance concepts along with the interfaces. That means, so a class, suppose class A, class B are there. So class A is the base class, class B is the subclass. Then we will write that. So the class B extends class A. Class B extends A. Also implements interface 1. That means we are implementing the inheritance as well as interfaces. So that means the class can implement interface as well as the inheritance at a time. So a single program statement can have the both the things, interface implementation as well as the inheritance concepts at a time, at a single line. So that can be possible. That we have to explain through the program. Next, illustrate the nested interfaces with example programs. So nested interfaces. So Java supports the nesting. That means a class can have the class and an interface can have the interface. So like that, the interface consists of another interface. So that is called as a nested interface. So nested interface can be of two types. First one is a class can have the interface. So a class can have the interface. Next one, an interface can have the another interface. There are two ways. A class consists of an interface. An interface consists of an interface. That means interface within the interface. That is the nesting. The class consists of the interface. There are two ways to implement the nested interfaces. It is the interface may be a part of the class or maybe a part of the interface. Those are the two ways to implement the multiple interfaces. Next one, default and static methods. So in the interface, we get the concept of the default keyword as well as the static keyword. That means we have said that an interface can consist of only abstract methods. The method definitions will not be there in the interface definition. So if you want to have the method definition in the interface itself, so there is a provision that is we can have the keywords, default keyword as well as static keyword. So by using the default keyword and static keyword, we can have the method definition in the interface itself. That can be possible. There is a provision after the Java version 8. Maybe after Java version 8, this provision will be added to the Java library. So default methods, static methods. That means before the method name, we can have the default keyword, or before the method name, we can have the static keyword. So next one, illustrate the functional interfaces and Lambda method. So there is a concept of Lambda functions. So the Lambda operator is arrow mark. The Lambda operator is arrow mark. So the Lambda expressions are nothing but a single expression which consists of the printf statement as well as the method definition at a time. Those are called Lambda methods, Lambda expressions, and then functional interfaces. So the interface consists of any function, then it will be called as functional interfaces. So functional interfaces can be implemented through the Lambda functions. Functional interfaces can be implemented with the help of Lambda expressions. So that is another concept. Next, another concept is annotations. So annotations means commenting, compile time commenting. So that means if you, for general commenting, we will use the double slash. For commenting, we will use the double slash. Or we can, multiple lines, if you want to comment on the multiple lines, we can use the asterisk, slash asterisk, asterisk, slash. In between that, we can place the, whatever the statements, if you want to comment, we can place this one. So this is the second way. So this is the user level commenting. So for user understandability, we are placing the commenting, but the compiler, for the compiler understanding also, we can place the comments. So those type of commenting is known as annotations. So the symbol is @ this is the symbol @ override, override. This is the example of one annotation. So every annotation starts with the @ symbol. @ So @ means the compiler will identify that this is some commenting. This is some commenting. So if you have some statement @ override means the compiler will understand that statement. So this is the annotation. So compile time commenting is known as annotations. So that we will see. So this is the entire things to be covered in the interfaces. So this is the concept of interfaces. So next one, so next unit is, that is the end of the third unit. Next one is packages as well as the exception handling. Packages as well as the exception handling. So the fourth unit consists of packages as well as the exception handling. So first we will check the packages, then we will check the exception handling. So in the packages, what type of questions will come in the packages? So first one, user defined packages and classes. So the package is nothing but a collection of classes or collection of interfaces. So a package typically consists of collection of classes. A package is nothing but a collection of classes. the package consists of the classes. Suppose if you take the, for example, if you take the util package, so import java dot util dot asterisk. So here the package is util package. Util package. So util package consists of collection of so many classes. That means class 1 something, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5. So like that, the util package consists of so many classes. So a class can have class members. So that means variables, objects, methods, interfaces, anything. The class can consist of anything, either methods or interface or variables or anything. So the package is nothing but a collection of classes. Collection of classes. The package consists of the classes. So there are two types of packages available in the Java library. That is predefined packages and user-defined packages. Predefined packages means util package, time package, IO package. Like that, we have so many predefined packages. And then we can create our own package also. We can create our own package also. Those type of packages are known as user-defined packages. So those type of packages are known as user-defined packages. So how do you define an user-defined package? So user-defined package can be created by using the keyword package. By using the keyword package space package name. So if you want to create the package as CRRIT is the package name. If you want to create the package as CRRIT, then we can create the package CRRIT semicolon. So that is the starting line of the package. Then we can write our classes. Then in that file, we can write our classes. Class A. In that we can have the add method, subtract method, like that we can have so many methods. So a class consists of, a package consists of classes. So like that we can create our user-defined packages. So already we have discussed the things. Next, to describe the path and class path. So to execute the Java, after installing the Java, we have to set the path, environment variables. So this is already explained, path and class path. We have to set the class path as well as the path. We have to set the bin folder for the path. For class path, we can have the library or other things. We can add the so many things in the class path. Generally, we will have the library lib folder. So next one, access controls in the packages. Public, private, protected, default. These are the various access controls in the packages. Next one. So we are going to discuss the three packages: language package, util package, and time package. So in the packages, we are going to discuss the predefined, the most important predefined packages. Those are language package, util package, and then time package. So language package means what are the methods, what are the main classes in the language package? What are the main classes in the util package? What are the main methods in the each of these package? If you want to explain these things, means we have to first explain the available classes in the language package. After that, main methods in that classes. We have to explain those things. Next one, enumeration, enum. Enum, we can have the enum keyword. Enum keyword, we can define our some constant values in the enum. In C++ and C, you can get the enum concept, enumeration concept. Next, wrapper classes. Next, we are going to discuss the wrapper classes. So wrapper classes are nothing but there are two things here. So wrapper class means conversion of the data type to an object or object to the data type. So these things can be done through the wrapper classes. So that means all the Java libraries or Java files or Java methods are defined to implement on the objects. So that means here Java is a purely object-oriented programming language. So here everything is an object. So there is a possibility to convert the data types into a object. So that can be possible through the wrapper classes. wrapper classes. So those type of things can be done through the wrapper classes. For integer, for integer data type, the wrapper class is integer, capital I. So if the data type name starts with the capital letter means that is wrapper class. Next one, auto boxing, auto unboxing. So this is related to the wrapper classes, auto boxing and auto unboxing. So auto boxing means uh, conversion of data type to an object. Auto unboxing means conversion of the object to the data type, reverse thing. Data type to object is called auto boxing. Object to data type conversion is known as auto unboxing. So this is all about the packages. So broadly in the packages, we are going to discuss the three things. First one, user defined package. How do you define your own package? So next one, we are going to check the three user defined packages, three predefined packages: language package, util package, and time package. So in that, what are the important classes in the language package, time package, util package, that we will see. After that, the concept of enumeration and wrapper classes are discussed. So that is the broad idea of the packages. So next one, exception handling. So this is very, very simple. So in the exception handling, from here, so in the exception handling, we are going to check these things. First one, hierarchy of the standard expression class, exception class. So there is a hierarchy of the exception classes. The main class for every exception is exception class. All the classes, whatever the classes you define, has to extend the properties from the exception class. So there is a hierarchy of the classes. Runtime exception, like that, IO exception, like that. So many types of classes, exception classes are available that we have to see. Next, illustrate try block, catch block, and finally block. So that means what is the purpose of try block? What is the purpose of catch block? What is the purpose of finally block? So exception can be raised in the try block. Exception can be handled in the catch box. So whatever, if the exception is erased, if the exception is not erased, the finally block will be always executed. If you want to execute compulsory something, you have to place that statements in the finally block. So that is the concept of try, catch, and finally. So next one, we have to check the two keywords, throws and throw. Throws and throw, as well as rethrow. There is a possibility of rethrowing also. So throw, throws. So that means throws. So throws can be used along with the method header. That means we have seen that public static void main throws IO exception. That means while defining the method, while declaring the method, we can have we can throw the some exception. That can be possible through the keyword throws. So within the method, we can throw the exceptions by using the throw method. So within the method means we can use the throw. In the while declaring the method, that means method header. If you want to use the using the method header means we can use the throws. So within the method means we can use the throw. There is a difference between throws and throw. So the rethrow means, so after throwing that exception, if you want to throw again means, then it can be, we can use the rethrow keyword. Next one, multiple catch blocks and nested catch blocks. Multiple catch blocks, that means a try block consists of corresponding catch block. So there may be a possibility of the multiple catch blocks. A single try block can have the multiple catch blocks. So multiple catch block means catch one, some exception, catch two, some exception, catch three, some exception. So at a time, these multiple catch blocks can be placed in a single catch block by using the Boolean OR operator. By using the Boolean OR operator, we can have the single catch block. So multiple catch blocks can be uh, placed in a single catch block by using the Boolean OR operator. Next, nested catch block, try catch block. That means a try block consists of another try block. So those another try catch block. So those type of things are known as nested try catch blocks that can be possible in the Java. Next one, throwable class. So throwable is a class in the exception class. So there is a subclass that is throwable class. So this class consists of so many methods that methods you have to identify. Next, checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So checked exceptions and unchecked exception. So checked exceptions means if the compiler search for the catch block, then that is checked exception. If the exception is arrayed, the compiler search for the corresponding catch block, that is checked exception. The compiler will not check for the catch block, that is unchecked exception. The compiler will not check for the catch block, that is unchecked exception. If the compiler checked for the catch block, that is checked exception. So next one, try with resources. Next concept is try with resources. So try with resources means there is a resources means that may be a data or any internet or something. If you want to execute something, we need some resources. So we can have the try block along with the resources also. So that we can see. Next concept is, this is important, catching the subclass exceptions. Suppose we have the base class, we have the subclass. If you have the base class and we have the subclass. So if the exception is erased in the base class, what happens? If the exception is erased in the subclass, what happens? So in the concept of inheritance, how the exception handling can be done? If we have the base class and if you have the subclass, so the subclass can inherit the properties of the superclass, then how the exception handling can be performed in the inheritance, how the exception handling can be performed. So that is catching the subclass. So next one, how do you create your own exceptions, or we can call it as custom exception. So we can create our own exceptions. So already we are still now we are using the user defined exception. So if you want to create your own exception, that can be possible. So that can be known as that is known as custom exceptions, or user exceptions also we can call. So this is all about the exception handling. So in the exception handling, we are going to check the try catch blocks as well as the checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions, throw keyword and throws keyword, and then catching the subclass exceptions, and then custom exceptions. So this is all about the exception handling. So this is the 4th unit. Next, while coming to the 5th unit, so in the 5th unit, we have to cover the string handling, multi-threaded programming, and Java database connectivity. There are 3 things: string handling, multi-threaded programming, Java database connectivity. So in the string handling, that means, so in the string handling, we are going to cover the classes supported by the strings. That means we don't have the string class, string data type. So in the data types, we have the int, float, char, double. We don't have the string data type. We have only char data type. we don't have the string data type. So string data type can be implemented through the string class, string handler class, string builder class. So we have three classes. We have three predefined classes to implement the strings. To implement the strings, we have the three predefined classes: string class, string builder class, and string handler class. So in this unit, we are going to cover all these classes. So next, explain the storage and immutability of the strings. That means if you use this is a comparison. So what happens if you use the string class? What happens if you use the string builder class? What happens if you use the string handler class? So next one, all these classes, string, either string class or string handler class or string builder class. So all these classes can implement the one interface, that is char sequence interface. So all these classes can be implemented by char sequence interface. So char sequence as an interface which is implemented by all the string handling classes. So there are so many string handling functions. How do you extract the characters from the string? So if you give the string name as I am going to Delhi. So how do you extract the each character from the string? So there are so many methods here. We have to identify what are the available methods. Next, comparison, string comparison. How do you compare the two strings? Whether the two strings are equal or not. How do you compare? We have some methods. How do you modify the string? If you want to, if the string value is Delhi, how can you modify that value to the Amritsar? How can you modify the strings? That can be possible. There are some methods. Next, we are going to discuss the string builder class and then string buffer class. String buffer and string builder. So to implement the strings, we have three classes: string class, string builder class, and string buffer class. So we are going to check the string buffer class as well as the string builder class also. So this is all about the string handling. So in the string handling, we are going to check the three predefined string classes: string class, string buffer class, and string builder class. And then some operations: extracting the characters from the strings, comparison of the strings, and modification of the strings. So like that, we can perform some operations on the strings. So next one is threads, multi-threaded program. Multi-threaded program. So a thread is nothing but a piece of program. A piece of program. So a program is nothing but a collection of statements, collection of instructions. We can call it as collection of instructions is a program. So a program consists of so many instructions. So a bunch of lines can be treated as one thread. A bunch of lines can be treated as another thread. A bunch of lines can be treated as another thread. So a thread is nothing but a part of the program. A part of the program. A process is nothing but a separate program. So process is different from the thread. Process means to perform some functionality, we define some process. Process 1, process 2, process 3. But the process consists of threads. So broadly, a process consists of threads. So that is the concept of the threads. So threads are lightweight. While compared to the process, threads are lightweight. That's why we are going to implement the threads rather than the processes. That means the thread doesn't require any memory or any processor. A little memory and little processor is enough to execute the threads. That's why threads concepts are very, very popular. So to implement the threads, we have the thread class. Here, to implement the exception handling, we have the exception class. Likewise, to implement the threads, we have the thread class. So creation of the new threads. How do you create the threads? So threads can be created by two ways. First one, by extending the thread class and implementing the runnable interface. So by using these two things, we can create the threads. And thread states. So we have the thread states, thread life cycle. So we have the diagram. Next, thread priority. So default priority is 5. We can set the priority or we can change the priority also. So priority starts with 10 and ends with the 10. Starts with 1 and ends with the 10. So default is normal priority is 5. So the thread priorities. Next one, synchronization in the threads. How do you perform the synchronization between the threads? How do you schedule the threads? So the synchronization can be possible in the threads by using the 3 ways. That is by using the synchronized keyword, by using the synchronized keyword, or by using the synchronized block, by using the static synchronizer, synchronization keyword, static synchronization method, or synchronization block, or synchronization keyword. Next, deadlocks and race condition, that interthread communication. Interthread communication can be implemented in Java through notify method, notify all. So this is all about the threads. So in the threads, we are going to learn the thread states and thread priorities, thread synchronization, and then thread implementation. Thread implementation, very, very important. Thread implementation. How do we implement the threads? 2 ways. By extending the thread class, by implementing the runnable interface. That is the main one. Next one, thread states. Next one, synchronization. 3 ways to get the synchronization. So this is main things in the synchronization. Next concept is database connection. Through the Java program, how do you connect to the database? Through the Java program, how you are going to connect the database? That can be possible through the JDBC driver. We have to download the JDBC driver. So from here, so first one, JDBC architecture. JDBC architecture. So we have 2-tier architecture and 3-tier architecture. Next, describe the JDBC environment setup, JDBC connectivity model, and API. That means JDBC driver types: type 1 driver, type 2 driver, type 3 driver, and type 4 driver. So we have 4 types of JDBC drivers. So that we have to explain. Next one, illustrate the establishing of the JDBC database connection. So what are the steps involved in establishing the JDBC connection? So first we have to download the JDBC driver. After that, we have to register that JDBC driver. Then we have to know the URL of the database. Then we have to know the username and password of the database. Then we have to use the connection object. After that, we have to write the queries by using the statement object, by creating the statement object, statement interface. Then we have to execute the query. So after executing the query, we can get the results. So the results can be stored in the result set interface, RS object. So the results can be processed in the result set interface. So these are the 7 steps to establish the database connections. So we can perform we can create our tables, we can insert the values into the table, we can update the table, or we can delete the table, we can perform anything. Then result set interface. So result set interface is to process the results. We can have the result set interface. There is another interface, result set metadata. Result set metadata, that is the another data type. To describe the result set, we have the result set metadata interface. Next one, transaction management and batch processing. So batch processing means executing the multiple queries at a time is called batch processing. We have the methods, batch, we have the start batch, we have the method start batch and execute batch. By using these 2 methods, we can implement the batch processing. Next, transaction management. So transaction management means commit and rollback. So commit method and rollback method. We have the commit method and we have the rollback method. That is the transaction management and then batch processing. So this is all about the database. That means we have to, here the important things are JDBC architecture and driver types, and then 7 steps in connecting the database, and then result set interface, and then batch processing and transaction processing. So these are the things in the database. These are the things in the fifth unit. So this is the unit wise questions. So this is the fifth unit. So this is the unit wise questions, how the questions will be come in the examinations. So this is the thing. Anything else? Do you have any doubts? Okay, thank you.